everybody, welcome back to the All Things Good channel and to a new video. Hope you're all doing very well this week. It is the run up to Easter. We are having a bank holiday. It's Good Friday on Friday. Lovely Easter weekend coming up. I hope that whatever you've got planned, even if it's nothing, I hope you have a lovely run up to Easter and a lovely Easter break as well. So I'm off work on Good Friday and Bank Holiday Monday, so I'm really looking forward to that little break. The sun is shining today, but it's still quite cold, so there's that hint of spring in the air, isn't there? But it's kind of not quite there. Some days are better than others, but I think slowly we're starting to feel a little bit more spring-like. Well, I've had quite a good week, thank goodness. Nancy is fully recovered. Hurrah. And I've managed to get her out and about. So she is in this week's video, which I'm very, very pleased to tell you about. She's not 100% well, but all her COVID symptoms have practically gone. She's struggling with mobility. She's got a very bad knee. We are waiting on that steroid injection for her, which is middle of April. So still a bit of a wait for that. But on the whole, she's bounced back. Good old Nancy. Absolutely thrilled about that. I've had one disaster this week. Oh dear. Anyway, had some friends over last Saturday evening, which was lovely. We, or rather the Invisible Chef did them a lovely meal. Then we went out into our local town just for a couple of little drinks and a little bit of a chat and what have you. Just about to make our way home when my daughter Grace phoned me. She was on her way home from work. She'd got home just before me, walked through the door to a flood in the kitchen. Brilliant. So I got the phone call, Mum, I've come home from work, the kitchen is flooded. Long story short, dishwasher has died. I have had it 4 years. It was an agey, very, very, very good dishwasher. I've had a few little niggles with it from about Christmas time. The seal kept going on the inside, which we kept repairing and putting back. And I've noticed a couple of times the cycle isn't quite as clean as it should be. And you know me, I'm always cleaning it and making sure the filters are clean and taking good care of it. But I think it's just overuse. It's on sometimes twice a day, occasionally 3 times a day. For 4 years, it's definitely been on every day unless I haven't been here for whatever reason. So I have had to have a new dishwasher, which I have had. It's a Samsung. It's very good. So there's a little bit about that. So the flood wasn't too bad. Well, I say it wasn't too bad. It was bad. But we got home in the nick of time, so we had to sort it out. It was a bit embarrassing with friends here going, I'm so sorry, please come through the water, do enter, you know. But we sorted it out. So only one disaster this week, so that's not bad really on the whole, is it? Hope you haven't had any disasters this week. So I've taken Nancy to Lidl. So we've got a bit of a little look at what's in the middle of Lidl this week. I'm going to get her out again today because the sun is glorious. And I haven't yet started the garage declutter, but I've got a bit of a before picture for you. Don't faint, it is rather horrific. Anyway, let's get into this week's video. I hope you enjoy it.
This week I have had to invest, unfortunately, in a new dishwasher. And just before the old one was taken away, I thought, well, I'll just bring it out a little bit to help the men along when they come to deliver the new one. But Myla really was not very happy about it and was having a little bit of a nose round the back. She could probably see where it needed cleaning, to be honest. So normality has resumed, a new dishwasher is in place. This time I have gone for a Samsung and I went in this very nice sort of black colour as well, which I thought actually matched the new worktops really well. I'm very happy with it.
Okay. You look very serious.
Oh, God. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Look
Good
who's
morning.
back.
I'm back, and to prove it, I'm here.
Well,
Hello, everybody.
what a to-do we've had with you the last couple of weeks, haven't we?
Tell them all about it.
Well, I have told them all about it, but you have had. I managed to give you COVID, didn't I?
Yes.
And you were pretty poorly.
Yes.
Yes. But there's no holding you back.
No.
She's back. We're in the car, clearly.
And we're off. Oh, the beast is in front of us.
This cat is beautiful looking, but we call him the Beast. He's gone a bit scraggy.
Yeah.
We call him the Beast because he attacks my Albert.
Yes.
And there's a proper war that goes on, isn't there?
Yes. It attacks any other cat that comes near him.
He does. He's a bit vicious. Anyway, that was the Beast. You didn't see him. So you are feeling much better, thank God. And we're going to go off to Lidl today.
Yes.
So you have been out a couple of times now.
Yes.
This week we went to visit a cousin.
Which is
with some lunch, which was your first real day out, wasn't it?
Yes, and it was a lovely day.
That was lovely.
Yes.
And we've got Adam coming home very soon for Easter.
Lovely.
Got Gracie's birthday coming up.
Oh yes. Now what have we got to do for Gracie's birthday?
Well, I was talking with Tom, her boyfriend, and her birthday's on a Wednesday, so I'll be at work in the day. But we thought we'd all go out for a meal in the evening.
Perfect.
If you're up for that.
Oh, well, just try and stop me. There's something for you and Adam and Grace for Easter, and I don't know what to do.
Chocolate. Easter eggs.
Easter egg each?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why not?
Okay.
I like chocolate.
Well, that's for you and Tom.
You mean Paul?
Yeah, Paul.
Tom is Gracie's boyfriend.
Boyfriend is mixed up.
Yeah, don't say that. I could get into a lot of trouble.
I know.
I know there's been a few in my life, but
Yes. Okay.
not that many. Everybody on the channel was worried about you when you weren't well, especially with your breathing.
Yes. Well, of course, it was going around, wasn't it?
Definitely.
Very contagious.
Clearly,
I
very
don't know where I got it from, but it was
Well, you got it off me,
Oh,
but I don't know where I got it from.
Well, of course you work with me.
Well, then I managed to give it the entire office.
Oh, okay.
So it clearly was very contagious.
We can all blame you.
Thanks. Yes, well, you can blame me. Why not? But I'm sure it didn't start with me. I don't know where I had it from, because I think that week before we'd been out together.
Once
and
it's around, it goes around, and that's it.
what goes around comes around.
Absolutely.
So you're doing very well. It's very, very good that you are back out and about.
I'm a tough old bird, let's put it that way.
You are. Well, you must be.
Yes.
You always bounce back, don't you? 'Cause
Yes.
in fact, it was about 6 years ago, 6 or 7 years ago now. You were really poorly.
Was I?
And
What happened?
you had a perforated bowel.
Oh my God.
And you got rushed into hospital. You were in hospital for over 2 weeks, weren't you?
Yes.
And really, you were
Fortunately,
nearly 90 then.
they could
What,
do the
89?
operation without anything drastic. They managed to get it out, and my
managed to fix you.
lower stomach went back to normal.
And you bounced back
Yes.
from that incredibly well.
In fact, I did send them letters, a thank you letter, so did Mike, to say what excellent care before and during and after my operation.
You did.
How marvellous the staff were.
Yeah, they were.
They were absolutely amazing.
They were fabulous.
Yes.
And obviously that kind of thing is very dangerous, and
Yeah, of course.
they managed to sort it and
Yeah.
fix it, but
Yeah, it was a wonderful young foreign doctor, and he said, "Don't worry," he said, "I know what it is." He said, "And I'm going to fix it." Do you remember it? Wasn't he marvellous?
and he did. And then although you were in hospital for a couple of weeks after,
And he'd come on the ward afterwards, and he wouldn't come up especially to me because it looked too obvious, but he'd smile and go like this. If he's looking at me,
No.
he had to come and see somebody.
Yeah.
He'd go like this to me.
yeah. No, very good, very caring.
They're
Very-
wonderful.
dinner and weren't you?
Yeah. They said to me, we're going to let you out only if somebody in your house can cook for a couple of days or something for you.
My dad couldn't
And I
cook.
said, oh yeah, I was going to do that. Let's get out.
Let's get out. Right, we're almost at Lidl now.
Okie dokie.
Okie dokie. Let's see what's in the middle of Lidl, amongst other things. Well, you know how recently I've been telling you I need to sort my garage out because it's bad? I bet you didn't realise it was quite this bad. Have you got up yet from fainting? Oh my days. What has happened? This section of the garage, clearly, Christmas decorations. And it was raining so much the day we took the decorations down, we have literally just thrown them in here because my garage is separate to my house. So we have to bring everything through the garden to the garage. So that was meant to be sorted out a few days after the decorations went back and never got done. The rest is boxes that need sorting, the cat baskets, items that are ready to go to the charity shop. It's just a nightmare. Then on this side I've got paints, garden stuff, the lawnmower, plant pots. There's 2 shelves here, bits and pieces for the garden. I've got my gardening tools in an old bin, which is not a bad thing really. But I've actually bought some racking that's in this box here that is going to go here. So it's standalone racking. And then I want to get everything out into the garden on a dry day. Sort everything out, get as much in boxes as possible
in some sort of order, fill the shelving. I've also got things up here, look, in the rafters, but if that could be boarded out properly, actually there's quite a lot of storage space up there. But at the moment, those are things that are just, you know, really not needed. There's some old suitcases and what have you. But that's Adam and Grace. A little, I don't know why that's in the garage, but it is. That there is an old clothes rail that's actually broken, so that could go out for the scrap man. And the whole thing is just a disaster. I honestly do not know how I've let myself do this, because this is just not me, as you know. I'm so organised and so fearful of clutter that this has just been one of those out of sight, out of mind, and it's really starting to bug me now. So this week, hello Albert, is a sort out of the garage. This is a piece of spare kitchen worktop, which is really annoying because you can only buy them in these, you know, however long they are, strips, and we only needed a small section off the third strip, but I had to buy all three for it to fit in the kitchen. Very annoying. Why they don't do smaller bits and pieces of those, I don't know. Anyway, back to the point in question. Oh my God, this has got to be done. So here we are having our moment on the bed, and well, I'm full of smiles this week because I can't tell you how happy I am that Nancy has bounced back. I was a little bit worried there for a minute, a little bit worried, and anyway, she has bounced back. She is incredible, incredible. Nancy is a wonder. Quite frankly, she's, yeah, amazing. What can I say? Thank goodness. Thank you all for your lovely warm wishes over the past couple of weeks for her. I have read all your messages to her and she absolutely loves it. She loves all your comments. She can't believe that people comment on YouTube about her. She just loves it. And then of course you've seen, as soon as she's on camera, she's like, hello everybody. She just absolutely loves it. So I'm very, very pleased that she's all better. And yeah, do you know what? I was thinking this week about, I think we had this discussion before, about kindness and how a few kind words can go a long way. But when it's the other way, they can really affect you, can't they? And they can really hurt. And I'm not going to go into too much detail because it's a little bit boring, but I do have a couple of neighbour issues, not direct neighbours, but fairly close neighbours. And the issue is with our car parking area. Now, just to give you a little bit of an idea, my car parking space, of which I have two actually, is at the back of my property. So at the back of my at the end of my garden, I have my garage, which you saw, which is another story. End of my garden is my garage. And then on the other side of the garage is one of my driveways, and I have a car parking space next to it. But also at the rear of that car parking space, I've got an extra little bit of garden, which I haven't shown you for ages, but I think I have shown you in the past, that we call the beach, because I had it all pebbled over and it's just got a lovely red robin tree in it. And I definitely did do a video ages ago now, it could have been 18 months, 2 years ago, where I was telling you that I'd put a lovely pot, a huge pot with camellias in, and somebody had moved it. You may or may not remember that. Anyway, to cut a long story short, in that car parking area, everybody that lives locally, so I think there's about 8 or 9 spaces, everybody has an allocated drive and garage. So there's one drive and one garage per house, except this house, for some reason, has a drive and garage and an extra car parking space. And I understand when new people move in, they don't necessarily realise the 2 car parking spaces are for my house, which is fine. Just needs a conversation, or it needs, you know, but anyway, my bins are on the driveway that doesn't have the garage with numbers on. So actually you can see that that particular driveway belongs to my house as well as the garage. Anyway, that's the boring bit. Oh, it's all a bit boring really, but anyway, that's the boring bit out of the way. Just move this camera a little bit. But by my beach, my garden, that then goes on to what we call the access part of the car parking area. So you've got allocated car parking spaces and obviously the access to those. There is a neighbour who insists on parking in the middle of the access. and also parks right up next to my garden, which is known as the beach. So when that happens, I can't get to my garden. So I can't garden it, I can't get to it, I can't do anything with it. Very politely, over the past couple of years, we've asked them to move this vehicle. But also it's, if you might not realise this, not all of you might realise this, but when you buy a house, you obviously have a transfer deed. And in that, there's all the sort of do's and don'ts, if you like. We don't have a management company here that looks after those particular areas. Lots of estates and new estates do, we don't. And it's privately owned, effectively. But there is something called a restrictive covenant, or restrictive covenants that you have to abide to. And in our transfer for our local properties, it's you cannot park or obstruct those access areas. So basically, they're breaking a restrictive covenant. Not that they might be interested in that, but they are. And it's not fair on other people who are trying to get in and out, blah, blah, blah. So we've had a couple of issues in the past with this particular neighbour. Anyway, this neighbour actually was blocking the entire entrance into the car park area the other day and was just sat there in their car on a mobile phone. My daughter Grace, coming home from work, absolutely shattered. As you know, she's a carer, trying to get into the actual driveway, not let alone her own car parking space. And this person wouldn't move. And this person was saying, go up the road, or something like that. And Grace reacted a little bit. And in the end, they moved out of each other's way. But this person was just being difficult because they've been difficult for however long. The next thing that happens is this person knocks on my door and asks to speak to Grace. And I said, no, you can speak to me. I'm the homeowner. And basically had this sort of defiant entitlement to the entire car parking area. So I ended up giving her a copy of the transfer and a copy of the title deeds of my property and what I own and what I don't own and all those kind of things. And she just huffed and puffed and went off. And she was rude and aggressive, and she's done this a few times. It doesn't matter how many times you tell them, they just keep parking there. However, another neighbour couldn't get into her car parking space the other day because her car had broken down and needed a tow truck to come into the access area. So asked this person to move their car, and they did, and put it on the road. But they can't seem to do it for us, and they're constantly blocking our way. And I thought about this the other day, and I thought there is absolutely no reason for people to be so, well, it's rude. I'm not going to bang on about you shouldn't park there, it's not yours, da, 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 da. It isn't, and it's obvious it's not. But it's about everybody that lives here and parks here. And it's this sort of, like I say, defiant entitlement that I can do what the hell I like, regardless of anybody else. Now, if Nancy was here and I needed an ambulance, or if I needed God forbid, a fire engine or something that needed to come to the back of the property, it's going to cause an issue. And I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't go and park on someone else's drive and say, sod you, I can park wherever I like. And I thought, how is it that people feel okay with that? How do they then go back into their own homes after that little confrontation I've had? Or they, don't think about the effect of actions and words. And it's made us quite cross. And a couple of times, Gracie's boyfriend, Tom, has gone out, and he said, I won't go out just yet, just in case that person's there. And I said, Tom, this is our house. You can do whatever. Don't be frightened of that. I said, it's just wrong. And don't you find that when you are civil with people and kind with people and try and have a reasonable conversation, even if it's something that you're really annoyed about, if you just go, come on, let's have a conversation about this and work this out, surely you get a better result, and surely everybody feels better. And there's nothing worse than feeling awful about having an argument or having a confrontation, and life's just too short, isn't it? Needless to say, when that person did park on their road, they made a point of parking right in front of my front door, not front door because I've got a little path, but right in front of the access to my path. And I just thought, oh, this is just silly, you know. But should I have needed a wheelchair, or if Nancy needed to come down my path to my front door, she wouldn't have got in. And, you know, I just think it's so petty, really. It's so silly. And I don't even really know why I'm talking about it, other than the fact that I'm sure these kind of things have happened to you. But I just don't get the point. What a waste of negative emotion. A waste of negative emotion. It's ridiculous. So I'm not going to say anything further. I'm just going to let them get on with what they do. But if I need to garden that area, I'm just going to garden it. If that car's there, it's there. You know, I wouldn't purposefully damage somebody's car, or, you know, want sort of leaves and branches and things going round it. But if they're not going to move it and it belongs to me, then it's, the way I see it, it's their problem. But I'm not going to create about it. But it just made me think, doesn't it make a difference when you are civil with people? Really, I think it makes a difference all round, not just to make yourself feel better, but the situation becomes easier, lighter, and you can get through life a little bit easier. I'm not a confrontational person anyway, generally. I'm very, very placid until I get to a point. That's not happened very often, but sometimes I'll get to a point where I'm just not going to take it anymore, and then you'll hear about me. But very, very rare does that happen. And I think it just makes for a more peaceful state of mind, really. And as I say, life's too short, isn't it? But do you ever have that where you are in a situation where you are confronted with someone that is just not going to back down? They think they're right, you know, and there's just no getting through, and it does end up in a bit of a conflab, for want of a better expression. So that's been just over the past couple of weeks, really, and I just find it so silly. And then you have something as worrying as Nancy going on, and you don't know what's going on in people's lives, and it could be that this person was confrontational because something awful's going on, and it's another reason why I won't have an argument with someone, because you don't know why they feel the way they do. Something awful could be going on in their lives, and they're just reacting, but they're reacting with and to the wrong person. So again, it's sort of not trying to see the big picture and not needing to know the big picture, but knowing that it's not perhaps always as black and white as it might appear. Anyway, we can live with it. We can deal with it. It's just one of those petty little things. But there's often problems with neighbours, isn't there? I don't know why people think they have to have some sort of issue with neighbours sometimes, or whether it's just those personalities. I don't know. Anyway, it hasn't interfered with anything drastic going on here. So, you know, it's one of those things, just a bit annoying, but I'm glad I kept my calm. Let's put it that way. Fortunately, everybody else is well now as well. Grace is over her cold, Tom's over her cold. I seem to be doing well. I've got a blood test on Thursday morning this week, and that is for checking vitamin B12. So let's see what that brings, and if that's okay, I think it will be that I'll just have to up my iron tablets a little bit for the fatigue that's going on at the moment. But I'm not too bad on the whole, actually. Menopausal symptoms are still there, but okay, not too bad. I'm coping with it. I have had awful night sweats this week, but that's really the only symptom really this week. So I'm not too stressed about that. I'm not going to get stressed about it anyway. There's not much you can do really, is there? But I'm not getting stressed about it. But I haven't had as many headaches. That's good. But I've also tried to get a little bit more sleep, because I am still quite fatigued from the COVID, and I'm just making sure that I'm looking after myself really, and getting lots of sleep is definitely helping me. I can't do it every night, and obviously I get up early for work, but the days that I don't, I'm making a point of not necessarily getting up as soon as I wake up, but, you know, going, do you know what, I'm going to have another hour. I'm going to chill out a bit and what have you. A bit of self-care has been going on. But as I say, I hope you've had a really good week, and I hope you can get out and about and enjoy the little bit of sunshine that we're getting, and that you have a lovely Easter weekend, whatever you're doing, whether you're celebrating Easter or just having a little break and a bit of time off. So whatever you do, have a lovely, lovely week, and I will look forward to seeing you next Sunday. Stay safe, stay in the boat, keep doing all things good. I'll see you next week. Take care. Bye.